Hold on to your helmets because some scorching hot news just dropped from the Steelers, and you're not going to hear this everywhere else. We're talking straight talk, no fluff, no filler. Today's buzz affects the offense, the defense, and even a surprise player who might be walking into the locker room soon. So, you ready for this marathon? But before we dive into the headlines, let me hit you with something real. Nearly 90% of the people who watch this channel haven't hit that subscribe button. You know what that means? You're missing out on the kind of raw, exclusive analysis that only Steelers News Central delivers. So don't be a fool, click that button right now and show everyone you're part of the Steel Nation. I've got to tell you, the news of Jaylen Warren's extension hit me hard, because this isn't just any contract signing. This is a guy who came out of nowhere, undrafted, with no one expecting a thing from him. And now the Steelers are locking him down for 2 years with guaranteed money and the promise that he's the new backfield lead. To me, that means everything, because it shows how Tomlin values the guys who grind, who don't give up, who never get comfortable, and Warren is exactly that, pure grit. His contract is reportedly worth over $17 million, with a good chunk of that guaranteed, and yet he came out in his interview saying he's playing with even more of a chip on his shoulder. More? That's the spirit of the Steel Nation. We love a player who's never satisfied, who understands that wearing the black and gold comes with expectations every single Sunday. And he knows this chance only came his way because Najee Harris is gone. The Chargers nabbed Harris, and the front office didn't hesitate. You're next, Warren. That's a huge vote of confidence. Now, to be honest with you, I've got a little gut feeling. Warren has the talent, but he also had some injury problems last year. A hamstring tweak in the preseason, a knee issue in week 3, and in the home stretch, right when we needed him most, in the playoffs against the Ravens, the guy was practically a ghost. That's still fresh in a lot of fans' minds. How can we trust he'll hold up to the pressure of being the absolute workhorse? That's the kind of question only the season will answer. But here's another thing. The front office didn't sit still. They brought in Caleb Johnson in the draft and Gainwell in free agency. That means even though Warren is the guy, there's pressure coming from behind. Johnson is a rookie, but he's got a reputation from his time at Iowa. Gainwell has already shown he can be a valuable complement. And that's good, because if Warren stumbles, the next man up is ready. With Arthur Smith calling the plays, you can bet he's going to want to use every single piece of that backfield. The fans, from what I've seen in the online groups, are split. Some are celebrating like Bettis just came back, saying we finally have a reliable runner, and then there are the skeptics, reminding everyone that PFF ranked him pretty low overall. I get both sides, but I gotta admit, I'm choosing to believe. Because if there's one thing Steelers history proves, it's that underdogs who get a shot here often become legends. And wouldn't it be awesome to see Warren, a 5'8" back, blowing up defenses and silencing the critics? So keep your eyes peeled. This extension is a reason for hope, but also for sky-high expectations. And if you think that was today's big story, think again. Because the next piece of news is going to hit the Steel Nation right in the feels. Now, check this out, because this next one is just plain weird. The Steelers and Robert Woods are parting ways again, and it feels like a badly written drama. The guy had just agreed to stay on the practice squad. It seemed like a solid insurance policy. And then out of nowhere, he asked for his release. Just like that. And now the whole fan base is looking around like, wait, what's this all about? It's not every day a veteran with 2 1,000-yard seasons on his resume decides it's not worth it to hold a helmet on the sideline. To be real with you, I'm torn. On one hand, I get Woods. The guy's 33 years old. He doesn't have time to wait around for one of the 3 practice squad elevations. If he's not on the 53-man roster, he's not interested. Pride, experience, a veteran's mindset, it makes sense. But on the other hand, as a fan, you feel that frustration. If you were willing to join the practice squad, why not tough it out a little longer, at least until a spot opened up? Because injuries at receiver are always a thing during the season. The truth is, our receiver room is already stacked. We have DK Metcalf, who's our go-to guy, Calvin Austin III, who's earned some trust, Scotty Miller for speed, and Roman Wilson, the rookie with all the hype. And let's not forget Skowronek, who may not be a star but helps on special teams. There just wasn't a real spot for Woods. And honestly, the coaching staff knows that. Tomlin even said this whole fixed WR2 thing doesn't make sense anymore, that you can spread the workload among tight ends like Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith. And that makes it clear, a high-priced veteran sitting on the bench just doesn't fit. But here's the crazy part. Fans on social media were completely confused. I saw so many people saying the Steelers should have kept him just for his experience, for his voice in the locker room. Others were laughing, saying Woods' time has passed. That contrast shows how passionate and demanding the nation is, and how every single move sparks a heated debate. I personally think the decision was the right one, because if a guy isn't 100% all in, it's better to make room for someone who's hungry. Now think about this. With Woods gone, who's left on the practice squad? Just Keshawn Williams, an undrafted rookie. Is it risky? Maybe. But at the same time, it gives an unknown player a chance to become a surprise. And we've seen that happen here in Pittsburgh before. The fan base loves an underdog. So in the end, this departure doesn't sink the offense. But it does leave a nagging question. What if we get an early injury? Who's going to step up and handle the pressure? That's the doubt that lingers. And if you think this receiver story is over, get ready, because the next news will bring a name onto the field that could completely change the running game. Now, for the kind of talk that has everyone in the stands scratching their heads, Foreman could be heading to the Steelers. Yes, the veteran, that powerful bruiser who's proven he can get the tough yards, is a free agent, and according to whispers in the back channels, he could be the exact piece our backfield is missing. And I'll tell you what, it makes a ton of sense. Think about it. Right now, our rotation rests on the shoulders of Jaylen Warren, who just got his extension, and two guys who still have to prove themselves, Caleb Johnson and Gainwell. That's not a lot of experience, not a lot of guys who've been through the fire. And you're putting all that pressure on Warren, who's already got an injury history, leaving the fans praying nothing goes wrong. You can't just rely on luck, especially with Aaron Rodgers running the offense. If we want to take the load off his arm, we need a reliable run game. Foreman might not be a magazine cover star, but he has that physical style, that ability to move the chains when the offense stalls. That's what he's done in his best moments, even recently with the Browns. Not every running back embraces contact that way. And the best part is the guy is still motivated, still wants to prove he's got something left in the tank. That's gold for the locker room. The young guys look at that and learn. And even better, his contract would be cheap. The Steelers wouldn't have to break the bank since their big investments this offseason were in Rodgers and Metcalf. It would be a low-risk, high-reward move. To me, that's classic Omar Khan, a sharp, no-fuss decision that only the nation truly appreciates. The coaching staff, with Tomlin leading and Arthur Smith building the offense, knows they need to diversify the playbook. Rodgers can't be throwing the ball 50 times a game. Foreman would allow for a strategy of controlling the clock, wearing down the opposing defense, and opening up space for play action. And I'm telling you, imagining Rodgers having extra time because of those physical runs, my heart is already racing just thinking about it. Now, of course, there are critics. I've already seen fans say, bringing in a veteran takes a spot from rookie Johnson. I get it, but look, the season doesn't wait for anyone's development. We've seen too many seasons go down the drain because we trusted a project too much and forgot about the present. The Steelers have a real chance to contend, and if that means having Foreman as a solid option, I'm all for it. The noise in the online communities is already buzzing. Some are excited, some are skeptical, but everyone is curious. And I'll be honest, I'd rather be prepared than have regrets later. Because if Warren gets banged up again or if Johnson doesn't get up to speed quickly, who's going to carry the load? So, if this move actually happens, you can book it. Foreman will be a perfect fit. And hold tight, because if this potential signing gets you worked up, the next piece of news will have the fans genuinely nervous. And to cap off the day, here's the kind of news that gives any fan a sick feeling in their stomach. The defense might be shorthanded to start the season. It's already confirmed that Derek Harmon is out against the Jets, and now there's huge doubt surrounding Nick Herbig. The guy is listed as questionable, and everything depends on how he responds in practice this week. Honestly, this is way more concerning than it looks, because losing Harmon already changes the defensive line rotation, makes the interior less solid, but without Herbig, the hole is even bigger. This kid might not be a veteran, but he's already proven himself. He's forced fumbles, made crucial tackles, he's got that natural instinct you can't teach. Fans have quickly gotten used to seeing him come in and wreak havoc. Can you imagine not having that piece in the season opener? The pressure on the front seven doubles. The problem started in the preseason against the Buccaneers. He only played 3 snaps and came off the field with a thigh injury. At the time, it looked bad, but Tomlin later calmed us down by saying it wasn't a long-term thing. Okay, we all took a deep breath. But now, with game week upon us, comes this uncertainty. Anyone who knows football knows muscle injuries are tricky. Sometimes you think you're 100%, and on the first burst, it all comes back. And listen, facing the Jets is no joke. They're coming in with a revamped offensive line, looking to prove they can protect their quarterback. If we're missing depth at linebacker, it opens up a dangerous gap. The Steelers' defense has always been our pride, the heart of this team. Losing a piece like Herbig right away could change the whole tone of the opener. People on social media are already debating hard. Some are saying, rest him. It's better to lose one game than a whole season. And others are on the opposite side. If he's 70%, put him in. We need to start with a win. I'm more in the first camp. I'd rather see Herbig fully recovered than risk making it worse and losing him for months. But I know true fans love to see a player risking everything for the team. It's that eternal dilemma. Tomlin will probably hold off on the final decision until the last minute. That's his classic move. Limited practice, see how he responds, and then make the call. and that leaves the fans on edge, waiting for news with every update. The defense needs him, but the season is long, so the reality is this. We're starting the year with emotion, uncertainty, and worry. And you know how it is. The nation always suffers together, celebrates together, argues together. Now the question is, can we overcome this kind of adversity right out of the gate? After all this, it's impossible not to feel your heart pounding a little faster. Warren's extension, Woods' unexpected departure, the possibility of Foreman arriving, and now this drama with Herbig, it's a full plate of emotions. The Steelers are living in one of those moments where every detail seems to weigh a ton, and that's when the nation shows its true strength. So hit me up in the comments because this is the home of the real black and gold. Hold on tight because the next chapter promises to be even more electrifying. The Steel Nation never sleeps, and neither do I.